This is Dave and Andy from ClearXP, and today we're doing the Impact Champs podcast.
Yeah, well, I think Microsoft had been doing skills in some form before as part of their Viva Learning initiative. They had Viva Skills as well. So this is a little bit of a rebrand and change in approach. They're calling it people skills, and it's more focused around AI technologies for determining what skills you have and then allocating them to employees. So my initial thoughts are it's an interesting use of technology. It's definitely got some benefits, but there's probably more you need to do to really capture skills properly in an organization. Yeah, so basically what they do is they monitor all activity within Microsoft's suite of tools, which is quite extensive now. If you think about Microsoft 365 and all the extra things that they include in their bundled enterprise agreements, they watch that activity. They use AI to determine, based on what you're doing within their tools, if you are exhibiting certain skills. They tag them, and then you are basically able to confirm that you now have that skill. So the example would be maybe you're writing a PowerPoint presentation on, how to lead effectively, and you include you write out your whole PowerPoint, and the AI comes along, and it's like, yeah, you seem like you know how to lead effectively. I'm going to tag you as having that skill.
Right.
And it's doing that across everything that you do. You can opt in and opt out as an individual, which also, say you have a large proportion of your workforce opting out, what does that really tell you about the organization? If you're only capturing skills for a subset of them, it's hard to then analyze that. You lose some of the benefits. Absolutely, don't get me wrong, absolutely for giving people control of their own privacy, but it does kind of affect the the output of the solution.
Okay, so we hear the word skills framework used a lot. We use it ourselves. We really like it. So is that what this is? Is it a skills framework or?
A skills framework is more comprehensive than that. So it's basically composed of having a taxonomy of skills across all the different roles within your organization, and then capturing a way or having a way to capture who has those skills or is exhibiting those skills. It's called skills verification.
Yeah, okay.
So it is an end-to-end skills framework in the sense that People Skills allows you to enable their taxonomy. Yep. So they have one based on LinkedIn skills, which, I can't vouch for how relevant that is to all organizations. I imagine it's quite comprehensive.
Yeah.
But then their inferencing of using AI is the way that they do the verification. So that's what composes the entire framework. So I think in terms of the actual user interface, you're going to have the individual employees who can see what skills have been attributed to them. They have to confirm or reject those skills based on the AI, which is great. Keep a human in the loop, as they say. Of course, this kind of makes me think of, when LinkedIn used to do those endorsements and people would endorse you for things, whether you actually could do it or not. And you're just I'll just accept that. Yep. Rank up the endorsements.
Yeah, totally. I'm excellent at needlepoint. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
It gives me similar vibes to that, where it's just the AI might be attributing wrong skills to you, and you might go, oh yeah, I'll claim that. Yeah. I don't know how too many people will be rejecting a skill.
Yeah.
But so that's the first part from on the individual end. Then as an administrator or maybe a manager or an executive level, you get a kind of a dashboard view of skills across your organization, so you can kind of see where your strengths and weaknesses are as attributed by the AI engine. Yeah, so this is why you need a taxonomy to tell you which roles require certain skills. Yeah. So you can say that it's really important that we have procurement skills across these different roles within the business. Once you've verified who has those skills, you can then manually work out, well, maybe, I don't know if it tells you straight off the bat, I don't have too much first-hand experience with that aspect, but you should be able to say that we need all these procurement skills, and yet a big portion of the workforce doesn't have them. Of course, here's where you have the real gap in the people skills approach is just because it hasn't AI detected procurement happening within its suite of tools doesn't mean that as an organization you don't have those skills there. It just means that the AI hasn't been able to identify it. Yeah. So no data doesn't actually mean that it's missing. Like you wouldn't be able to act on that really. It just means you've got a gap. As far as I'm aware, this is the solution. Yeah. Is using the AI engine. Now they are planning integrations with like a wider third-party systems. Yeah. So the more systems you connect, the more you can you can pick up on things. Yeah, yeah. So like procurement's probably having a very specialized system. Like if they did an integration for that, then you could see like, oh yeah, this person's managing things effectively. Yeah. Of course, yeah, it all depends on what integrations exist and the fact that like you can even capture it digitally. So there's a whole bunch of roles where you're doing things like in the real world, and there's no way to capture that without having some kind of digital mechanism. Yeah. No. So, I mean, like, honestly, the fact that you can do it at all is something. So for businesses that are just getting into skills, and it gives you a lot to do out of the box straight away without a whole lot of overhead. If you're already in the Microsoft system, like you just turn it on, and then it starts collecting data. Like, so that's good. That's a win, right? Like absolutely. You don't have to go through this laborious process of designing your skills taxonomy. You don't have to like find ways to pull the data in. So that's really where it excels. Obviously, knowledge workers are a great use case because they're working on those tools all the time. They're doing everything in Excel and PowerPoint and over email. So it's going to capture a lot of their day-to-day tasks. Yeah. And that's probably where I'd say has got its greatest strengths. And you can, ultimately I recommend you use it in conjunction with a whole bunch of different data sources, but that would be the key area. Yeah. As I alluded to earlier, anything that is like not happening digitally is just complete blind spot, right? Like, and that's, if you think about like frontline workers, it's just like they're working out on like shop floors or like, in hospitals and things like that. There's just not going to be like digital record of a whole lot of their actual on-the-job skills. Yeah. So they're just like, I think they're going to be completely missing, right?
Flow-on effect, any frontline workers, really.
Yeah. Yeah, frontline, and I mean the thing for like for a large organization, like the frontline workers are probably the ones where you want that visibility, right? It's all well and good to develop the support staff, but the people who are on the floor doing the work, you kind of need to make sure they have the right skill set.
Think about an organisation that's got a couple of hundred people in the support office. They'll have all the skills mapped and tracked, and they'll be across all of it. There are 5,000 people out in the whatever workforce are in, who are day to day trying to get their jobs done. Less so.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And then even like within like your head office, like you're gonna have roles in there where it's just like they're not captured in Microsoft suite of tools. So I'm an engineer, right? So we don't really use any of the Microsoft suite. Like we're building stuff like we're doing code and like committing that to our repository and things, and that's just like there's no way of scanning that and working out how good we are at like software development. We're just not in the right ecosystem. So that's like an entire like department that is could be completely absent from the framework.
I imagine that's probably some kind of breach of some kind of security, particularly with our SOC 2 accreditation. You're not supposed to have your big brother watching over your shoulder anyway.
Yeah, the e-learning one's a good example, right? Just because you've done like a piece of training doesn't mean you're actually good at the material in that training. 100%. We're getting better at tracking those kind of data, by measuring how you perform on assessments and things like that. You can kind of get a bit of a view to like how proficient someone is. But effectively, with the skills, Microsoft people skills, it's the same thing, right? Like you do a presentation on leadership, like I said before, it's like, okay, you've got leadership skills, but like how developed are those skills is the question. Yeah. Like, have you got basic? Have you got like moderate or expert skills? And that's really what you kind of need to know when you start assessing your workforce. You want to know if people are excelling in those skills, because then it shows like they're probably ready to move up to in their career and develop other skills.
Yeah.
Whereas people who are just at the basic level, it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to keep them current role and develop them further. So generally, I think proficiency levels are extremely important to know, like, to put people on a scale rather than that just being like, oh, you have it or you don't have it, which is just how big skills was. Again, caveat being knowing that someone has a skill versus not having any data at all, still better than nothing. Still better than nothing. But
absolutely.
Like the best standard, the gold standard is to be like, well, how proficient are they?
Yeah. Does it have the capability for doing like succession planning and future planning and those kinds of things?
Yeah. So, I mean, you would be able to infer that a little bit from the data, but again, I don't think there would be enough there to be able to do it comprehensively well. Like I said before, it's like if there's gaps like in the data, you don't know if that's because a skill is absent or just because it hasn't picked it up, right? Yep. So as a sole source of skills data, it helps, but I don't think it would effectively allow you to do succession planning across an organization. With skills, like you're not going to have, I don't think you're ever going to have a tool which is the single best solution that does everything. Or at least you're thinking it's just like, oh, maybe if we could create that tool.
I don't think so. We're pretty far out with what we're doing.
I think you want to bring in multiple tools to build like a broader picture of things. So like you've got your traditional performance appraisals where your manager's assessing their direct reports.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to be probably like a high quality signal in terms of because like they know day to day whether you're demonstrating the right skills.
Yeah.
But you want to supplement that with like your L&D data as well, right? Like so, I've developed myself in some new area. Like I've maybe done like it could be like a qualification or something like that. You want to bring that in. It's like that's also a good source of the skills that you've acquired.
Yeah.
And you might not be doing it day to day, right? But you've developed something, and so that's something that would be outside of people skills.
Yeah.
But then like you can supplement it with people skills data as well. Like so, it could be picking up on all the gaps where it hasn't come through in your performance appraisal, it hasn't come through in any L&D things or like any other sources. It's just adding to the information that you can kind of build together to paint as good a picture as possible of the organization's capabilities. I think it's a good initiative. It's a little bit of taking advantage of new technology just to provide some value to organizations already using Microsoft. So great.
Do you mean new technology in terms of AI or?
AI, LLM specifically to be able to like understand the English language.
Let me just define that LLM as in large language model.
That's right. Yeah. Generative AI and large language models to be able to understand natural language and then perform other tasks on the back of that or interpret it or pass it, that kind of thing. Yeah. Absolutely.
So LLM. Yeah. Mentioned. That's what it meant.
Yeah. Thank you for that aside. I like to drop some tech lingo in there. Just to.
I think that you live it, and there's normal people around like me. You just gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah. What now? An acronym?
Yeah.
But yeah. So to summarize, I think it's a great starting point. Good use of technology. I really appreciate when a solution gets out of the way of users, so that like it's just kind of running in the background and doing stuff, and creating not creating content, but like creating value for organizations. So that's great. It's just that as you become more mature as an organization, and if you want to do some of those things like succession planning or like learning needs analysis or identifying where like weaknesses are in your organization in relation to what your roles need to be able to do, you're going to need something a little bit more than that.
Out.
Yeah, just a bit more. But yeah, no, it's if you just get started, it's not.
Good job, Microsoft. Well done.
Yeah,
you're getting there. You're getting there, guys. So that's great.
They'll get there one day.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well that's enough for us today. Thank you for joining us on Impact Champs. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.